So as part of the research that we do each year, we also survey 100 large corporates, and we also survey non-profits. And last year we had around 150 non-profits respond, and there's been a lot of talk about massive declines, and I think we have seen this in some sectors of the non-profit sector. But we actually found in the survey that 59% of the surveyed NPOs said their income had increased over the past year. This slide just shows the extent to which income increased or decreased. And I think quite an interesting statistic is how much of non-profits' income corporates account for. And according to our survey responses, corporate South Africa, which is the second bar there, accounts for 18% of non-profit income. So I think there's often a misconception that corporates are the main and sole kind of funders or are expected to fund a lot of the non-profit sector. But we see that South African trusts and foundations account for an equal amount in our sample of 18%, followed by foreign donors and government, which was sitting at 14% in our sample last year. What we have seen over the years is an increase in that fifth bar, the self-generated funding. And a large portion of our sample last year said that this had been a source of growth. And I think we'll touch on this topic, Margie Keaton speaking later, on sustainability of nonprofits and looking at alternative sources of income. Okay, so I'm going to move on then to looking at this expenditure relative to other development spend. And from this chart, what you can see is although 6.2 billion is a very significant amount of funding, it really is dwarfed by the government expenditure on social services, which are over 500 billion each year. And I think Sizwe spoke a lot about this, but the point to take out here is that if corporates want to have any kind of systemic impact or to change things nationally and for many people in the country, they need to work with that government big box, and they need to look at how to partner it, how to influence and improve the spending of that large amount. And I think Sizwe spoke quite a bit about some of the difficulties in that partnership. He specifically focused on trust issues. I mean, I think we have seen government call for corporate participation in development, certainly. And this has even been formalized through the DTI BE scorecard, as well as the various sector codes. Governments are expected to be contributing towards development. And we'll move on to this a bit later, but we've actually seen an increasing number of partnerships between corporate development spend and government development spend. But it's not without its issues. And I think many people in the room can attest to how complicated trying to partner with government is, not least because of the very different cultures and the fact that corporates are often expecting things in a much quicker time frame. And I think from the government side, there's some frustration that they're dealing with a large number of different corporates and that's not part of their core or kind of day job.